Guys, welcome back to another Slightly Redneck video. Again, my name's Chris. If you're not familiar with the channel, well, I do help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. Today we're going to be incubating quail eggs. Well, it'll take more than just a day. I mean, we're going to be doing it over a week, but you guys will see it all in one video. We're going to be doing it in the Ovation, the Brinsea, there we go, Ovation 56 Advanced, Ovation Advanced, there we go. That's a mouthful. Brinsea Ovation Advanced 56 Egg Incubator. It'll hold, I guess, 56 chicken eggs, a whole lot more than that in quail eggs. So I've had a couple of people kind of request this. The incubator was kind of gifted to me. It was used when I got it, but it's still working just great. And I've had a couple of people request that I shoot video and kind of show the incubator off a little bit. So we'll do that. So far it's been a great incubator. Now I used a little giant styrofoam incubator. It's up on a shelf. You can't see it right now. For years, got great hatch rates out of that incubator. And I still say, if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, you're not sure how long you're going to be doing this, or if it's really something you want to do, you can't go wrong with Little Giant. They have fantastic customer service. If something goes wrong with your incubator, even if it's 10 years down the road, they will send you a replacement part. The thermostat goes out, whatever. They send it to you, no questions asked. Fantastic customer service. And I get really good hatch rates out of my Little Giant incubator. But I was given this incubator. There are a few things that I do like about it, a little bit more than I did my styrofoam Little Giant incubator. Let me grab that down just to show you kind of the difference. So this, first of all, is the old styrofoam Little Giant incubator. You may be able to see, I mean, this has been used a lot. It's very old, probably 15 years old. And there's my egg turner inside. Let me get that out of the way. There's the egg turner inside. What I do like about this Brinsea, and you'll see it up close here in just a minute, that I like a little bit over this styrofoam one, is the windows on here. They look pretty ample right now, but they're really hard to see through whenever there's actually incubation going on in there. They fog up, you know, because of the humidity levels, and really, really hard to see in there. Plus, it's styrofoam, so it's incredibly hard to clean. You never really get all that. I mean, you can see it looks pretty dingy right now. You just never get all of that out of there. I mean, you can kind of clean it up a little bit, but you never get all of that out of there. Not that big of a deal. Still get great hatch rates out of it. It still does a pretty good job. But there are a couple of things I do like better about the Ovation one. So let's go take a look at that one. All right, so I brought you in a little bit closer here, so you can kind of get a look at it. This one's kind of dirty right now. It's kind of dusty. There's a whole lot of dust on it. Look at that. I should probably just wash it off real quick before I shot this video, but honestly, I just don't really worry about that kind of stuff too much. It doesn't affect my hatch rates or anything like that. The first thing you might notice is this is all plastic dome, completely. So you can see in there much, much better than you can through those little windows on the Little Giant. I like that about it. It's also all plastic, so it's much easier to clean. You know, there's no porous material that's going to soak, you know, filth into it, for lack of a better term. So I like that about it as well. This is your vent, basically, so I just keep that open all the time. I never close it off. We'll take a look at the top here real quick, and then we'll open it up and show you kind of what it looks like inside. It's not an overly complex design. It does a very good job of holding temperature. I've been impressed with it so far and getting good hatch rates out of it. But let's take a look at the top, kind of what we're seeing on the control. Alright, got to take the camera off the tripod, so maybe a little bit shaky here just to show you this, but I don't know how well that's showing up right now, but it gives you a temperature and a humidity reading right there on the front. Now this is the advanced model. It does not come with the humidity controller, just a humidity gauge, so it shows you what the humidity is. I have not added any water to this so far, and I think we're at like 26% humidity right now. So I'll add a little bit of water, and I'll show you that here in just a minute, how you do that and how you control the humidity on it. But that's pretty much the display there. There's a whole lot of settings in here. I'm not going to run through them all. You can look up the owner's manual and all that. Here, let me put this camera back on the tripod and we'll talk about all the different kinds of settings you can get on here. Okay, so this thing's really way more advanced than I need for incubating quail eggs. Quail eggs are pretty easy to incubate. You set the temperature consistent. You do want to make sure you turn them. I'll show you the egg turner here in just a minute. But some other eggs are a little bit more sensitive. Duck eggs, for example, they need a higher humidity. They can also benefit from like periodic cooling. And this has settings that you can set it to where it will periodically cool the eggs just a little bit for things like duck eggs that benefit from those kinds of things. Now, when you're hatching like chickens, quail, not necessarily that important for that, so I don't really mess with that setting. You can change the rotation schedule, so you can have it rotate. I can't remember all the different settings you have, but you can have it, the rotator, rotate the eggs at a different, like every 45 minutes, every hour, every 4 hours, every 5. I don't remember exactly how all those settings are, but you can set those up if you want. And I think I've got it set. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I can't ever remember how to do. Can't remember what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. So, turn mode. Okay. There, I just turned the turn mode on. And then there's a turn interval, and I know you can't see this. So I've got it set right now at 60 minutes. Yeah, you can turn it all the way down, you can go up to 180 minutes, all the way down to 5 minutes. So that's the interval at which it will turn the eggs. I've got it set at 60 minutes. Actually, I'm going to set it at 45, call that good. There is an alarm. The alarm goes off if the temperature gets below a certain temperature. You can set that as well, like what temperature you want the alarm to go off. If it's below 3 degrees, what it's supposed to be, or 1 degree or whatever. I don't have that set on right now. There's a whole bunch. You can change the display. You can all kinds of settings, and I know that was probably pretty boring watching me do it behind my back, but it's just I'm not set up really well to be able to show all the different settings in there, and honestly I'm not using all those different settings because it's more advanced than what I need. So, and for those of you guys that are hatching quail eggs, chicken eggs, you really don't need all those either. You'll get an owner's manual that'll kind of tell you how to go through all that, and that would do a much better job, or you can look up a video on the settings and all those kinds of things if you're super interested in it. But we'll show you a couple more things. I do have some quail eggs ready to incubate, but I'll show you a couple more things before we get to incubating. Alright, so if we open this thing up, what we have is, I've got it running right now because I'm getting ready to set eggs. Oh, there was a feather that didn't get out of there the last time. I talked about how easy it was to clean. So this is your egg turner basically. It sits right in this little shelf back here in the back, and there's a motor right there that will sit on there and move this back and forth, and then the egg turning trays look like this. Now these are the duck egg trays. They don't hold as many like chicken eggs, but they're bigger than a chicken egg holder. This allows you to put a divider in here. This is a little divider like that, and actually incubate quail eggs in here. And you can get about 100 eggs in here easily, probably a little bit more honestly. And they just sit, it's got two, I don't know if you can see that, I'm trying to do this with, two little knobs. I'm trying to do this with one hand. One of them sits in the bottom of the tray there, and the other knob sits in the, there we go, in the top of the egg turner. So as it moves back and forth, it turns it. That's basically how it works. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these egg turners in here. If they were the chicken eggs, I think you can fit 8 in there, but these are bigger than the chicken trays. Humidity is controlled manually by adding water to the 2 reservoirs here. So for the most part, I'll add some water because relative humidity is a little low right now, but I'll just add it to this one tray on this side. You get this little slide thing here that, am I reading it right? Yeah, it goes this way actually, I think. That fits over, maybe not, maybe I do need it this way. There we go. Fits over that little reservoir right there, and then you just slide it back and forth to close off or open that up to let more surface volume of the water to raise or lower your humidity. And then as we go into lockdown, I'll fill up this reservoir as well. Now these reservoirs aren't huge, they don't hold a ton of water, so chances are you'll have to fill them up or put water in them periodically throughout the hatching process, depending on what you want your humidity levels to be. The EX version, I believe it is, this is the advanced. The EX version comes with a humidity control. that hooks in. It's actually a pump that will pump water in and control the humidity. This one just has a reading. You have to manually add water and slide the little thing back and forth. Now what I usually find is that I'll probably put it right about there. I'll fill this reservoir up with water and put it right about, I don't know, somewhere right about there, and that just gives me, we'll see how the humidity goes. I don't have any water in there right now. I can get up to about 50% usually whenever I try to run about 50% humidity. It's not as important for quail eggs until you get to lockdown, but during the hatching process I try to run around 50% and don't pay much attention to it, just kind of. And then during, lockdown, when I go into lockdown and get ready for hatch, I'll bump it up to about 70-75%. So now the only thing that you really have to worry when you put the lid on is you want to make sure this is the turner right here, this little motor, and it's got a little wheel there that's got to fit over the egg turner, there, this little thing right here to be able to move it back and forth, if that makes sense. So get my cord out of the way. It's really not difficult. I mean, for the most part, it just sits right on there, and it pretty much just lines right up, pretty much perfect almost every time. Do I have, yeah, I got the cord in there. That's the problem. There we go. Trying to reach around the camera. It's a little awkward. But anyway, I don't have my eggs in there anyway yet. So let me get the eggs. We'll get them all situated. We'll get them in here, and then we'll come back as the process continues. Okay, so I've got all the eggs in there. I think I got about 85 eggs. You can pause it and count it if you want to, but I think there's right around 85 in there. And there's still room for more, so 100 is kind of pushing it. I had 100 eggs in here one time, and there was a few of them that I kind of had to stack on top of each other, and they just didn't. I mean, it wasn't a perfect fit, but it worked. It did work, but it wasn't a perfect fit. But these are going to be just fine. One thing I notice about that is, like, if you shove an egg in one side, it kind of pushes that little divider over. It makes it a little bit stiff on the other side, but they basically just need to hold up enough to turn, and that's it. This one right here hopefully doesn't fall out, but if it does, I probably should go ahead and just move it. Let's put it down here. There you go. Now they're good. They should be good, so they can turn. I don't have to worry about any of them falling out, I don't think. And that's it. We're going to close this thing up and let it go for 15 days, and then we'll go into lockdown and hopefully get decent hatch rate on day 18. I'm not expecting the best hatch rate out of these eggs, honestly. My hen to rooster ratio is a little bit low right now, so the fertility may not be the best, and I saved them for about 8 days. So after about 7 days, you start to see viability start to drop off a little bit. So that may impact my hatch rate a little bit, but I'm not really necessarily looking for 85 birds to hatch. I mean, if they do, great, but if they don't, that's not that big of a deal. So we can't blame it on the incubator, though. Let me get this closed up. I know I'm probably blocking it, so you can't see what's going on here, but there we go, all closed up, and that's all there is to show for now. So I'll be back when it comes time to the only thing I'm going to be doing from this point on is just monitoring humidity and adding some more water if I need to add some more water. But that's it. I probably will. Humidity is a little bit low. It's kind of dry out right now, so I'm sure within the next 15 days it's probably going to use up that water in there, and I'll just have to add some more water. But other than that, that's it. We're going to let this go for 15 days, and we'll be back with you. It's a little cramped in this room. I've got to kind of crouch down a little bit to get the camera, so if my posture looks a little weird, that's why. I just want to make sure everything's in view. Alright, so today is lockdown day. It's day 15. It's time to put these eggs into lockdown. So a couple things I'm going to be doing here. Well, first of all, I'll take all the egg carrier, the little trays out. They don't need to be turned anymore, of course. So I'll take all those out. I'm going to add some water. When I first set up the incubator, I added water only to this side with the little vent thing that closes up. So I'll be filling up this side over here. It does not have a vent that blocks it off, or a little, I don't know what you call that, little plastic thing that slides over it that blocks it off. It's just going to be completely full of water because I'll probably need that much to get through lockdown. And I'll probably go ahead and fill up this side as well, and then just leave it, gapped a little bit like that so that it can get a little bit of humidity from there. So, there's not a whole lot to this. I don't know if I can get the camera in here and show you me taking them out of the incubator, but I don't know that you need to see that anyway. So I'll just bring you in as I can and kind of explain the steps to you. But I'm going to go ahead and just take the top off. We'll set it back here for a minute. take the eggs out. I do like that these egg trays will sit flat on the bottom, so I can just set them off to the side here, not worry about them tipping over too much and spilling eggs everywhere. If I can find room to set them, I will anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the water trays. That one's full. And I'll fill this one up too. And that one's full. And then, oh, one other thing. So, the incubator comes with what they call a hatching mat. Basically just sits right down inside. I'll get it in here real quick and I'll bring you in and show you what it looks like. Take that out, I don't need that anymore. So let me bring you in close. So I don't know if you can see that. It's basically just a corrugated cardboard. So this is designed to give the chicks a little bit of traction so when they hatch, so you run into fewer issues with like splayed legs and things like that. Honestly, I've hatched without it before and they did just fine. And I think you'd be better off. I mean, it comes with, I don't know how many it comes with brand new, 1 or 2 maybe. And you can buy replacements. They're kind of expensive for what they are. I mean, I want to say that I think I bought some replacements and it was like, got distracted. I thought this egg was cracked. It's not. It just has some dirt on it that I should have probably taken care of before I incubated. But oh well. Anyway, where was I going with that? Okay, kind of expensive. I want to say they were like $20 for a pack of like 12 or something, which is not terrible, but it's a little high for a piece of cardboard. It'd probably be better off, honestly. Like I said, I've hatched without them before, but these are hard to get a hold of. My fingers are too big to reach in there and grab them. I wonder if we can just dump them. There you go, that works a little bit better, doesn't it? Where was I going with that? I lost track. I think you'd be better off just getting like some, what do we call it? Shelf liner, like plastic shelf liner, or rubber shelf liner, I should say. It'd be reusable. You can just wash it off after you hatch. And then, taking a risk doing it that way. Hopefully I don't break any of them, tear them up. But anyway, that would probably be a better option. It'd be a lot cheaper in the long run than having to rebuy these things all the time. So this is going to get pretty full. I don't think I'm going to be able to dump the rest of these out. I've got a couple more trays to go. I can't grab a hold of them. There we go. Got one out. Once I get one out, it's not so bad. I can get a hold of the rest of them. But that first one was really tricky. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not expecting fantastic hatch. You know, if you wanted to, you could candle these eggs at this time. Throw out any that are, you know, glowing like a light bulb under a bright light, basically. But I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to hatch and see what, or just throw them into lockdown, see what hatches. I'm not too terribly worried if I get, you know, 1 or 2 infertile in here, or even half of them infertile. It's not that big a deal to me. I can collect and hatch more, but I don't really like leaving the incubator lid open that long. But hey, I don't have enough room over here on this little workbench thing to do it any other way, so this is what we're doing. Ideally, you'd be able to set it down flat so it doesn't start working really hard to try to keep the heat up while it's up in the air like that, but it's not going to be that long. We'll get them in there pretty quick. Oh my goodness, if I can get this egg out of here. There we go. Good grief, that's hard. Alright, close it back up. And then there's not much to do here until they start hatching, so I'll bring you back as the eggs start hatching. One of the things I do like about this incubator, what like I've said before, is it's all plastic right here, so you can see inside as they start hatching. Humidity is about 47% right now, so that's pretty good. It's going to rise a little bit as you know, the humidity, the water that I just put in starts to raise. So, you know, I'm trying to get it up to, you know, about 70%-ish roughly would be good. And that's it. I'm not going to be opening this incubator again until the hatch is done. So we'll be back whenever that takes place. All right, well, I know this is going to be kind of hard to see here, especially with that thing being kind of dirty, but this is one of the things I've said I like about this incubator a lot. We've got a shadow over here. Let me see if I can move a little bit, get that shadow out of here, or that glare out of there. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Is that you can see through this incubator, so I can tell I've got 3 birds that have hatched out already. I've got one right over here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. That's actually hatching. It's like right now hatching. It's just now coming out of the egg right now, which is something you don't get to see in a lot of incubators because the, you know, small glass windows, they kind of fog up, and it's hard to see in there. But he's coming out of the egg. It's kind of cool. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, if you're actually able to see that or not. But he's just about to make it out. You can hear the motor for the egg turner. The egg turner's not in there, it's just the motor running. But, yeah, again, I don't know if that's going to show up on film very well. But, yeah, I can see him. He's just about out of the egg. He's working on it. Alright, well, again, I don't know that you can see that very well at all, so who knows how much of this I'll show, but we'll come back when they're all completely hatched out, when the hatch is done, and kind of show you what I've got. Chances are, like normal, I'll probably have to, you know, move, you know, a bulk of them will probably hatch today, and I'll be moving them out to the brooder tomorrow, and then I'll close the incubator back up, let them go for another couple of days to see if I get any more that hatch out. That's usually how the hatch goes, so I'm expecting it to go that way this time as well. And we'll see though. But yeah, it's kind of neat to watch that process actually take place. So we're up to 5 hatched out now, 4 hatched out now, including this guy here that's just now getting out of the egg. He's looking pretty groggy. A little shaky, doesn't quite have his feet yet, but he'll get there. Alright, we'll come back whenever we have something else to show here. Alright, so it's been about, I don't know, 26 hours roughly since the first one hatched, so I'm going to call the initial hatch done. I don't know how many I've got in there, quite a few, but you know, like I said, I wasn't expecting really a great hatch rate on this, so I don't think it's anywhere near perfect. But I'm going to go ahead and get these guys out that have already hatched, and then might have to add some more water. Let me make sure I've got some. I do. I don't know, we're at 65% humidity. We're probably doing okay, but wouldn't hurt to add a little bit more water for the eggs that haven't hatched yet, because chances are, you know, you leave them another day or two. These guys hatched just a little early, so my incubator may be running just a little warm, but not bad. I mean, wasn't terribly early, but anyway, what I was saying is most of the time you get big bulkier birds that hatch all at once, and then you'll have several over the next day or two that are a little bit later to hatch. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys out, get them in the brooder box outside. We'll just open it up real quick, take a look, see what we got. I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible so I don't, all the other, oh yeah, well, there's actually probably a little bit better hatch than I expected. So let me get these guys out. I'll do some of that on camera if I can. It's a little tricky to move around, try to count them up as we go. Oh, I gotta set this thing all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, got one that did not thrive for whatever reason. Where was that? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, Oh, they're stuck to the shell. Okay, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, whoa, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and one that didn't make it. Let's get some of these eggs over here. The ones that haven't hatched yet, kind of push them back away from the side. Pour some more water in here. And then I'm going to close this thing back up. Let them go for another couple of days. Get the cord out from underneath it. There we go. So roughly 50 birds. So let me get this situated. We'll get them out to the brooder box. I'll bring you guys along for that. All right, so we're out here at the brooder box. I've got it all set up. The heat lamp's on. It's going pretty good. It's getting pretty chilly at night right now, so I set these feed bags over one side to kind of help hold the heat in so it doesn't fluctuate quite as much. You can see my lights just went off. I've got it on a temperature controller that it's an Inkbird temperature controller. Let me get these guys out of here real quick. There you go. And let's see, I may need to adjust the camera. Let's adjust the camera just a little bit. Okay, so you can see, well, my lights are off right now because it hit temperature 101 degrees. Then it kicks off. I think I need to reset. I'm watching my temperature controller right now. I'll show you which one I use here in just a minute. But it's set at a 5-degree difference. So when it hits 95 degrees, those lights will kick back on. I think. Let me make sure. It's at 95.2 right now. 95.1, 95. There it goes. Right on. So kicks on at 95 degrees. I probably need to bump the temperature up just a little bit so that it's not getting quite that cold. But you know, I've said this before, you know, well, let me back up. I'm kind of rambling here, not real organized, sorry. But I've said this before, you don't need to show the birds where the food is. They find it. I mean, that's all they do is they go looking for the food. And you can see them down there eating right now. For the first couple of days anyway, and honestly, most of the time when I'm brooding, I've got these blue shop towels down, so I just pour the food on the floor. I mean, I can put it in a container, but they're going to kick it all out anyway. There's the water, mason jar water with the quail base on it, so they can't get in the water, get wet and get chilled and, you know, contract hypothermia. So, I mean, that's really about all there is to it. It looks like a pretty decent hatch, actually. I don't remember how many eggs I started with, but ended up with 51 hatched, 1 didn't make it out of the incubator, 50 did, so not too bad. I mean, you guys probably remember because it was just a few minutes ago in the video, but for me it was 14 days, or well, 18, almost 20 days ago that I set those eggs in there. I don't remember how many I had. I think somewhere around 80. So, what are we looking at? Probably, and I'll get a couple more that'll hatch out in the next day or two, so what is that? That's like a 60-something% hatch rate, I think. And again, I kind of expect some of those eggs were not fertile because my rooster to hen ratio is a little bit low right now, but heck, I'm happy with 50 birds. Works out for me. Let me get this closed up. I'll show you my temperature controller, and then we'll talk just a little bit more. One other thing I'll say is I do use heat lamps. I know lots of people are concerned about the issues with like fire and stuff like that. I wire them to the wire lid, so they can't come off. They can't fall. I can open this lid up, they'll hang on there. I don't want to do that, but they can't fall off there. So they're wired to this just to make sure that if something gets up on top here, pushes this around, it's not gonna fall off, contact anything where it could actually start a fire. And these have worked pretty well for me. This is my temperature controller up here. Let me adjust the camera. Well, you can probably see it. This is my temperature controller. Uh-oh, my dog's found something. Hang on. He's after a squirrel. Wasn't that big a deal. I want to make sure it wasn't the skunk that's been hanging around. This is my temperature controller. Let me check and make sure you can see that. Yeah, you can. This is the Inkbird I can't remember what it is. It's the Wi-Fi enabled one. I do not have it hooked up to Wi-Fi. Basically, you just push the set button here, and then I can adjust the temperature. So I'm going to adjust it up to 104. Leave it that way for just a couple of days. So it'll fluctuate between about 104 and about 99 because I've got it set on a 5-degree temperature difference. So it doesn't kick on until it's 5 degrees below that temperature. And you can see, maybe you can see it's going down to 95. It's at 95 right now. When it gets up to 104, it'll kick off, and it'll stay off until it gets down to 99. Then it'll kick back on, and it'll warm up to 104. So I'll leave them that way for a day or two, and then I'll start lowering it down about 3-4 degrees every day, and then we'll, once they get feathered out, in about a week and a half, I'll start doing probably 5 to 10 degree differences every day until they get acclimated to what the outside temperature is, and then they go right outside. Probably, right now our outside temperature is getting pretty chilly at night, in the 40s. So it'll probably be end of next week, about 2 full weeks in here, maybe 2.5, before I get them to the outside hutches and away from the out of the brooder. All right, move you outside where I got a little bit more room to move around. It gets pretty cramped in this shed here. So anyway, that's about it for this video. The Brinsea Ovation, it's a great incubator. It works fantastic. I used, it's not the only option. They are a little bit expensive, so you could get away with something cheaper because I used a Little Giant for probably 15 years, and it worked fantastic as well. But there are some things I do like about this one. I like that big, clear, open. You can just see in the incubator. It's dirty right now, so you can't see real well, but you can still see in it a lot better than you could with the Little Giant little glass, little plastic windows that they've got that just fog up and you can't see through them at all, really. So there are some things I do really like about it. It's a good, solid incubator, but they're pretty much all going to work pretty well. I think it's running a little bit warm right now, so I may have to drop it down on my next hatch just a half a degree, or excuse me, yeah, about half a degree. Because it is, I did get them hatching. They started hatching on day 17. Normally you're looking at day 18. But then again, pretty decent hatch, so maybe there's not an issue with it. Maybe I shouldn't fiddle with it. But anyhow, I'm going to get this shed closed up, let these guys get acclimated, and we'll see you guys on the next video. As always, God bless.